Okay, just when you guys are in, just confirm, just so I know that we can start. Oh, let's go. All right, so I'm gonna end this sharing, and then I'm going to share this one. Okay, so now the code's gone, and you can see. What do you see? All right, perfect. So now, again, you're going to be on your own browser, and we're going to go through this lesson together. There's a couple questions that involve you guys participating, and then there's going to be a quiz at the end that we'll go over, and then it's going to end with like a reflection with me asking you like how comfortable you are with inequalities and equations. So basically, this is a mix between equations and inequalities. And using word problems mostly. So kind of determining like which time I'm going to use equations, what time I'm going to use inequalities based on keywords. Okay, so in this activity, like I said, you're going to have to determine which one to use. So this first question is a word problem. So I want you to try to solve this question. So just as a community is planning to build a new rectangular park, the length of the park is 250.2 feet. The perimeter is 948.2 feet of park. Can whoever has their microphone just mute it because it's the background noise just echoing? So you have like, if you have paper, like if you don't want to like draw it out on like the screen because it's kind of hard to draw on a screen, you can always like feel free to draw on the side and like you do like your work separately and then write your answer. That's totally fine too. I think drawing a picture is helpful for this one.
Wash your hands, please.
Someone's microphone's on. Someone's getting yelled at to wash their hands. I think it's Olivia. Is that you? Is that your mom yelling at your sister?
Yeah.
Love it. So you don't have to write an equation or inequality if you don't want to. Like you can just do the math like however you think is appropriate. And then I'll give you guys a few minutes to finish up and then we'll chat about the answer.
Can I like just put the equation on the thing if I don't want to like solve the whole thing on the like with the using the mouse?
Yeah, like guys, if you want to just do your work like separately and then you can always like write your you can always even like type your final answer if you want to, because I know it's a lot. Like what I'm doing right now is I'm like drawing a picture on like a piece of paper. Okay. Most people are either finished or like just finishing up their drawing. So what I'm gonna have you guys do is go back to Teams for a second and like I'm gonna show you my work on my piece of paper. I think my camera's on. Can you guys see me?
No, you're sharing your screen still.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop sharing for a second. Oh, there we go. Okay, so hold on. My background is going to make this. Hold on. Over technology. Okay, no background. Apply. All right, so now you can just see my ugly guest bedroom. So this is my work. It's obviously going to be backwards because nothing's easy. So I just drew a rectangle. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
So it says 250.2. I know it looks like a 6, but I just basically labeled the given length. And since it's the length, it's obviously equal on the other side. So top and bottom is 250.2. And then the left and the right side, or the width, those are obviously going to be the same value because it's a rectangle. So I just put question marks there, which you can represent by X. So then on the very bottom, again, it's backwards, which is so annoying, but it says, do you guys see it normally? Or no? Is it backwards for you too?
We see it normally.
Oh,
See it
okay.
normally.
So I just have to read it backwards. All right, so it says, yeah, 250.2 plus 250.2. And again, I'm adding them all up because it says perimeter. And then 2x. So basically all of those sides added together should give me the 948.2. So then I just subtracted 250.2 twice because it's both sides. And that gave me, it was like 447 point something. But that's for both these sides. But then I had to divide by 2 to get one width. So the answer should be 223.9 feet. Okay. Have you guys ever seen my nails?
I didn't show my work. I just wrote my answer.
That's fine. That's why I said like it's really hard to do it on the screen. That's why I did it on this as well.
Yeah, me too. Like I did it on paper and then I just put my answer.
Yeah, that's totally fine. I'm not a fan of writing on the computer screen. Like when I do my pre-recorded lessons for you guys where I write it out, I'm using my iPad with like the Apple Pencil, or else it would be like a nightmare. So, all right. So now I'm gonna go back to sharing. And again, you guys can jump back to your browser. All right, perfect. So the next question, it says, did you use an equation or inequality to represent the situation? So I know some of you didn't like write it out, but if you were to like have to give this as an equation or inequality, which one would you choose and why? So this is just like a quick typing one. So you write either equation or inequality and why for the question that we just did. And if anyone wants to like share verbally, they can. Like if we want to make, since it's like kind of a small group, if anyone wants to just like share out loud what they would choose and why, that's totally cool too. So someone wrote, I use an equation. Okay, equation because it equals something. Adriana, you're funny. Okay, so yeah, an equation, everyone wrote the equation, so everyone's right. Everyone that did right. If you didn't, it's fine. You can just listen to my explanation. So the reason that this would be an equation is because they're looking for one exact answer. Like they're saying the length is this, the perimeter is this, what's the width? So like it's giving you like that concrete information. So 223.9 is the only answer that would work. An inequality is more like when you have a set of answers where it's like, okay, the length is this and the perimeter needs to be at least 948. Then what are the possibilities? That would be an inequality. So basically like the biggest difference between an equation and an inequality is equation has one answer. Okay, so x equals 5, whatever it might be. And then an inequality has more than one, or an infinite technically amount of answers, because it says, like, for example, like say the answer is x is greater than 2. The answer is not 2. The answer is 3, 4, 5,346.2, like anything that's bigger than 2. Okay, so the keywords, like I said, at least is a keyword, at most, greater than, things like that are kind of like keys to show that it's an inequality. But if it says like is equal to, is this amount, what is the, like that would be like kind of a key for an equation. Okay. And again, if you have any questions as I'm going, obviously just unmute and ask it. I won't be mad if you interrupt me. I can't see the hand raised thing because I have this screen up. Okay, show what you know. Now you'll put your knowledge to the test by taking a short quiz. So there's 3 questions for this. They're multiple choice. And again, if you did this last week with me, basically what's going to happen is you're going to go through at your own pace, answer the 3 questions, and then when you're finished, I press share, and that'll send out like basically your results, like how many out of 3 that you got correct. And then we'll go over the answers. Okay, so take a few minutes to do that now. I'm going to mute my microphone so there's no background noise, and I'm going to take the questions with you. Okay, so I just hit share. So that's going to pop up on your screen with how many you got correct. Okay, so I'm just going to go through. So on that page now, on your own end, you should see like you scored however many out of 3. And then if you scroll down, it'll show you the answers. So I'm just going to go over them quickly and why each answer is what it is. So for the first question, it says a waitress earns $50 per week plus tips. She waited on 25 tables and earned tips at each one. She needs to earn at least $220 this week. Look at the image. Okay, the image is not there, unfortunately, but I think I remember what the answer said. Which inequality represents?
Sorry, I accidentally X'd out.
Okay. Oh, so if you go to Teams, you can actually see the questions. So because I'm sharing that screen. If you want to hop on there, just so you don't have to like re-go into Nearpod.
Yeah,
so you good?
Wait, no, I'm still in Nearpod. I'm just not. I was just wasn't on the meeting.
Oh. Okay. So you can see like how many you got right and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so the first question, like she already earned $50 with her, like, say like that's like her base pay, like her salary is going to be $50 a week plus tips. So like waiters and waitresses, like their salary, like, or like their hourly wage is not like super high because they get the tips like onto it. So like, for example, like a teacher, like we make obviously more than $50 a week, but we don't get like tips. So it's a little bit different. So for this situation, you would take the $50 salary and then it would be 50 plus the tips. So the tips would be represented by 25x because it says X represents the amount per tip. So basically if she has 25 tables, you're going to do 25 times X and that will give you the total amount of tips on the week. So it'd be 50 plus 25x. And then it says at least $220. So it should be greater than or equal to 220, which was option A. Again, it's greater than or equal to because it's at least 220. So she can earn exactly 220 or more. That's why it has that bar on the bottom. Okay, the second question, it says a swimming pool holds 18,000 gallons of water. A pool company can drain the water in a pool at a rate of 60 gallons per minute. 300 gallons have already been drained. How long will it take to drain the remaining water? So this one would actually be an equation because it needs an exact amount of time to drain that remaining water, right? Like once that water is drained, it's done. It has to be an exact amount. So what you would do is if you wanted to set it up like an equation, it would be 300 plus 60x, right? Because it's 300 that's already taken out plus 60 gallons per minute. So X would represent the amount of minutes, and that will equal 18,000. If you didn't set it up like an equation and still got it right, I actually didn't set it up as an equation. I just took 18,000, I subtracted 300 because that's already taken away, and then I divided that by 60 to get the amount of minutes it would take. And the answer should be 295 minutes, which is option B. And the last question, it says, Devin opened a bank account with $225. So what that means is they went to the bank and they already put that $225 or deposited, right? Deposit means, I know they don't use that word, but deposit is a very common math word. Deposit means to put money in. So they come into the bank, they deposit or put $225 in their account to start. So they already start off with $225. And then it says that he saves $25 per month. Okay, so on top of that, right, it's a savings account, so he's going to add more to it. What is the least amount of months it will take him to save $750? So since it says least, it would be an inequality. I would do, yeah, it'd be 225 plus 25x. And then it would be less than or equal to 750 because he needs to get exactly 750. To solve this, what I did was I did 750 minus 225 because that's going to give me how much more money he needs. And then I divided that by 25 because that'll tell me the amount of months needed to reach that 750. So the answer was 21 months. Okay. So now if I go back to, I think there's one more slide. Yeah, so this last slide is really important. Please don't log off until you do this. And then I have a couple other things to mention to you guys. Very quickly, it says, how confident do you feel in your ability to write equations and inequalities to solve them? So it says A is very confident, B is somewhat confident, C is not confident at all. So this is not an easy topic. Like getting like from a word problem into an equation or inequality is not easy. I think it's one of the hardest topics. Because
Miss Benson,
yeah,
my phone just died and I was doing the thing on my phone. So should I just tell you I feel like somewhat confident.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for communicating that. Yeah, I would agree. I see a lot of B's right now for that middle ground because basically like if I gave you an equation, right, like 2x plus 5 equals 10, most of you guys would be pretty good with just solving that for x, whether it's that or an inequality, but it gets trickier when it's like, okay, here's a word problem, you make the equation and then you solve it. So that's the hard part about it because you make the equation and then you have a little bit of like uncertainty if your equation's even right. So it is a little difficult. If you are like really struggling with it and you like need to ask me questions, obviously feel free to always either shoot me an email or we can set up a time to meet on Teams.